friends, it's Ashley here from the Loopy Lamb and theloopylamb.com, and thanks so much for stopping by the channel. I'm back this week with a new crochet book review, and we're taking a look this week at Crochet Southwest Spirit, over 20 bohemian crochet patterns inspired by the American Southwest by Susan Kennedy. This is a colorful new crochet pattern book from David & Charles Publishing, and thanks to David & Charles, I have a copy of this book to give away to one lucky winner. So be sure to watch to the end of the video to find out how you can enter to win a copy of this book. And I'll be sharing my in-depth review of this book today and its unique collection of patterns for home decor and accessory projects. So if you're ready to get started, please hit that like button and please consider subscribing to this channel for more content just like this. Now, the author of this book is Susan Kennedy of Pretty Peaceful Crochet. She is a neuroscientist and crochet designer that lives in the gorgeous San Juan Mountains of Southwest Colorado, near the Four Corners area of the USA. Now, I'm Canadian, and so I wasn't quite familiar with that area until reading the beginning of the book. They had a beautiful way of starting this book, starting here on page 4, where they talk about the geographical location that the author is from and how the area and the culture there played a part in the inspiration for this book. Now, the Four Corners area of the U.S. is, if you're not already familiar, is the place where Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah meet. It's illustrated here nicely with this graphic here in the book. And this section of the book between pages 4 and 11 has beautiful, beautiful imagery to show what it's like there. And Susan goes into the textile traditions of the area as well, particularly that of the Ute, Pueblo, and Dene Navajo people of the region. And I found this section to be incredibly fascinating, and Susan's love and great respect for these traditions really shines through. And this section, like as I already mentioned, is accompanied by these gorgeous photos of natural landscapes, sheep, yarn, and projects made by Indigenous artists and more. And it's just an absolute beautiful way to start the book. Totally worth the read, even if you're eager to jump into those crochet patterns. Now, speaking of crochet patterns, there are 21 different crochet patterns with peaceful color palettes and a really relaxed vibe, which is a wonderful thing to see in the book. And the book is split into 3 different sections of patterns. The first section we see here is simple stitches. The next section is textured stitches. And the last is Southwestern tapestry. Now, the book starts with the simpler, more beginner-friendly patterns and then works into your intermediate and more complex patterns in the back of the book. Now, I'm going to do a flip through here and show you all the different patterns that are available in the book. Now, we've got the Rio Grande stripe towels, artisan market baskets, cozy yogi wrap, modern bohemian blanket, Sedona knot cushion, Durango pillows, La Plata rug and pillow, Dreamer's Path wrap, Valley of Dreams blanket, Cactus Garden blanket, Bear's Ears fringed pillow, Raider Ridge wall hangings, Land of Enchantment blanket and pillow, Valecito blanket, Lone Mesa pillows and tote bag, Wind River weighted blanket, Canyon Moon blanket, and the Globe Trekker throw. Now, the patterns in this book are written in the U.S. terminology, and you can find a U.S. to U.K. terminology conversion chart found in the back of the book on page 106. The patterns use a variety of different techniques, from regular crochet to tapestry crochet like we see here, some mosaic crochet, and even some macrame is used. Some patterns, like the modern bohemian blanket, which we found up here, come with step-by-step photos to assist you in getting started with your new project. Now, I really liked the laid back bohemian style of these patterns, and my favorites being, however, these beautiful tapestry crochet blankets in the back, the Canyon Moon blanket, and the Globe Trekker blanket, because frankly, I just cannot resist a rainbow blanket. They're absolutely beautiful. While I found most of the patterns in the book to be clear and easy to follow, I found that some of the patterns needed some more clarification or instruction, and I would recommend that before tackling any of the patterns that you read through the notes section in each pattern and the pattern itself through from beginning to end prior to starting. And that can help to avoid some of the confusion. But if you already have an expansive crochet repertoire, particularly if you're experienced with attaching yarn and different colorwork projects, you should be able to fill in any potential blanks easily enough. Also, make sure to read through the instructions for the various charts in the book. Again, there's the tapestry crochet, and then there's mosaic. So there's different charts in the book, and traditionally these charts will show one block equals one stitch in the chart, but that's not necessarily true of all the charts in here. So especially if you are experienced with those kinds of patterns, don't just jump in, make sure to read those notes, because it didn't get me. So that's why the notes are there, friends. Make sure that you read them. Now, while there are a few patterns that are accessible for beginners, like the Rio Grande striped towels here, or the artisan market blankets and the knot cushion, most of the patterns are geared towards intermediate and experienced crocheters. Now, in the back of the book is where you're going to find your technique section, which is where all of the supports for makers are found. And this is covered from pages 104 to 125. The basic stitches used are accompanied here by some illustrations to help you visualize the instructions. And then there's also a section here that covers tassels and fringe and different borders, which I found really helpful, and is accompanied by some photographic support here. Now, as we keep going through this section, there is a section here starting on page 115 where it talks about color work and the different techniques that are used there. Even if you're experienced in doing tapestry crochet or color work or mosaic, I definitely recommend taking a look at these sections anyways, just to make sure that you're using these same techniques. Now, there is a brief section at the very end of the book here where it talks about blocking your patterns or your projects. Now, blocking for some of them is not going to be needed, but I really wish that this had been expanded upon, because it is just very much a glossing over of blocking. And because a lot of the projects, or I'd say 90% of the projects at least, use natural fibers like wool and cotton, having some more information on how to properly block those projects made with those fibers would have been super helpful, because I do know from my experience, a lot of people will want to use the same fibers, and having that would just have been a great support for makers to have. Now, I was thrilled to see that in the patterns, even though it's not necessary to match gauge for these patterns, the gauge information was given. So that way, if you are experienced with matching gauge, you can get the size given in the pattern. However, there were no supports in the book that cover what gauge is or how to measure it. So if you're not already familiar with that, a Google search will have to suffice in order to get the information that you need. Overall, this is an absolutely beautiful book of original projects that is sure to be a hit with fans of bohemian patterns and Southwestern style. I'd recommend this book for intermediate crocheters that don't mind occasional problem solving, and resourceful, adventurous beginners that are looking to expand their skill set and can't resist the call of these gorgeous Southwestern style crochet blankets in the book. Now, as I already mentioned, I am giving away a copy of this book, and if you want to enter to win, you can head on over to the written version of this review on my blog, theloopylamb.com, and I've linked to that in the description box for you below. And once you head on over to that post, you'll check out the review, and when you get to the end of the review, you'll find the full giveaway entry form, rules and details, and you can just fill out the form and enter to win. I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, please hit that like button, and please consider subscribing to this channel. If you like free crochet patterns, make sure that you check out my blog, theloopylamb.com, where we've got over 100 free crochet patterns, many of which have step-by-step video tutorials. If you have any comments or questions about this book, I would love to hear from you, especially if you have any sort of experience using this book. We'd love for you to share that with our community as well. Please leave those in the comments section below, and I will attempt to help you with any questions that I can that you leave for me in the comments below. So thanks again for watching, friends. Happy hooking, and I'll see you next time.